Hi guys, welcome to the channel. So today we are going to start first chapter of physics of class 12th, and the name of the chapter is electrostatics. So as the name of the chapter suggests, it is electro means charges, simply it denotes charges, and static means rest. So basically we are going to study charges at rest. So first of all, talking about charges, we all have studied that there are two types of charges so far which we have studied, one being the positive charge and the other being the negative charge. Also we have studied something known as like charges repel each other, whereas unlike charges attract each other. So these things we know, right? So far these things we know. So if we are having similar charges like positive and positive charge, or we are having the case of negative and negative charge, so if we are having same charges, so they are going to repel each other. And if we are having unlike charges, positive and a negative charge, then these are going to attract each other. This thing we know. Now one more thing about conductors and insulators. We need a very basic knowledge about conductors and insulators. We are not going into detail, but one thing which you should know is that in case of conductors, if we talk about the valence electrons are what? The loosely bounded electrons which are present in the outermost shell, right? The electrons which are present in the outermost shell are known as valence electrons, and if these are loosely bounded, if these valence electrons are loosely bounded, then that means their transfer is easy because they are loosely bounded. So in case of conductors, the valence electrons, that is the electrons which are present in the outermost shell, these are loosely bounded, whereas in case of insulator, these valence electrons, these are tightly bounded. So their transfer is not easy. These are some of the basic things which you should know before starting with the chapter of electrostatics. Now coming on to the chapter itself, first of all, if we want to study the interaction between the charges which are at rest, right? We are studying electrostatic, which means charges at rest. If we want to study these interactions and the charges are at rest, then we are going to use Coulomb's law. We are going to discuss about this law later on, but when we are going to study charges at rest, we are going to consider this law, which is very important. And now you will be wondering, what about the charges in motion, right? That is electrodynamics. Now if you want to derive those relations, then for that you need Maxwell's relations, but we are not going to study those things. But I am telling you just this thing right now, that if you are going to study charges in motion, then Coulomb's law is not operated. We use Maxwell's relation. Basically there are four relations, but we are not going into that much detail. So now starting out with the chapter itself. Now electrostatics is a part of electromagnetism, right? It is a part of electromagnetism, right, in which we study electric and magnetic fields. And in electromagnetism we have two parts, that is electrostatics and electrodynamics. In electrostatics we study charges at rest, and in electrodynamics we study charges in motion. So right now we are going to study charges at rest. Now moving ahead, So now that we know we have two types of charges, that is positive charge and negative charge. So now we are going to discuss about the properties of these charges. So now the next topic is properties of electric charge. So starting out with the first property, charge is a fundamental and intrinsic property of matter, just like we study for mass. So just like mass, charge is also fundamental and intrinsic property. Okay, so just like mass, charge is also fundamental and intrinsic property of any matter. Now moving on to the second property. So charge is of two types that we have studied, that is positive charge and negative charge, and furthermore protons carry positive charge always, and electrons carry negative charge always, right? So this you have to remember always, that a proton carries positive charge and an electron carries negative charge. Third property is that unlike charges, they attract each other, while the like charges, they repel each other. This also we have discussed here, right? So unlike charges are going to attract each other, while the like charges are going to repel each other. Now the fourth property is that electric charge is always conserved. Okay, charge is always conserved. Now after studying all the properties of these electrical charges, I am going to demonstrate some of the examples so that you can understand what do I mean by saying charge is always conserved. So this part we will study later on. Now the fifth property says that force between charges varies inversely proportional to the distance between them. That is, if we are having two charges, suppose one positive charge and one negative charge, if they are going far apart from each other, right? Suppose this is the first case, right, in which we have both the charges 1 meter apart. Now we have the second case in which both the charges are 3 meters apart, and next we have a third case where both the charges are 7 meters apart. So as the distance goes on increasing, as this distance between charges goes on increasing, the force between them also decreases, right? The force between them will decrease. So as these charges are moving away from each other, as the distance between them increases, the respective forces between them decreases. So it is varying inversely. So you can write it down in your own words that the force between charges varies as the inverse to their separation, right? As the separation increases, the force between them decreases. This is the fifth property. Now with this, moving on to the sixth property. Now the sixth property says that electric charge is always quantized. Now what do I mean by this quantization of charge? This is a very important point. We are going to understand this point separately in a very elaborate manner, that electric charge is quantized. How they are quantized and what do I mean by quantization, we will study later on. Now seventh point is electric charge is additive in nature. So you can add up the charges. Okay, electric charge is additive in nature. So we are going to discuss these things as soon as we discuss the application part of these. Okay, so you will be able to understand these things later on. Now first of all we are going to discuss about the conservation of charge. What is conservation of charge? We have discussed one property of charge, that electric charge is always conserved. So what do I mean by that? That is, what is conservation of charge? Now just write down one thing, that the net charge of an isolated system remains constant though it may transfer itself from one body to another in the system. So now just look at the sentence, that is, the net charge of an isolated system remains constant though it may transfer itself from one body to the another. So suppose we have an isolated system. In that isolated system, the net charge is going to remain the same. So the net charge is not going to change in that system. Now we are going to understand this using an example. So first I am going to give you an example of annihilation process. This is a simple process in which what happens, one electron and one positron, they combine and they give two gamma rays. Okay, so in this process what happens, we are not going to into the detail of what is this annihilation process and all, but we are going to understand one thing, is that in case of annihilation process what happens, one electron and one positron, electron will be carrying negative charge, positron will be carrying positive charge, they combine with each other and give us two gamma rays. Okay, so electron and positron will combine and will give us two gamma rays. So now these gamma rays are not carrying any charge, these are neutral, right? So gamma rays, they carry no charge. Okay, these gamma rays carry no charge. So if you look at this overall process, then how do we define how conservation of charge has happened here? So if you look at the left hand side, then there was one negative charge and one positive charge, right? One minus one charge and one plus one charge. So net charge was equals to 0. This is the left hand side. And now if you look at the right hand side, then there is no charge on these two rays, so net charge is 0. So if we look at this overall process, the charge is conserved. Initially also it was 0, after the process also it was 0. So overall the charge is conserved. Now we'll look at one more example. So the next example is just the opposite of this process, and that is called as pair production. In this case what happens, we will be having gamma rays, right? And the gamma ray will provide us with one electron and one positron. Okay, so the converse of annihilation process is pair production, and here also charge is conserved, just like the previous case. Here we are having net 0 charge, here also minus 1 and plus 1 we are having net 0 charge. So here also the charge is conserved. Just like this, in case of radioactive transformations, nuclear reactions, and so on. Whatever we study, we are going to see conservation of charge. This is the inherent property of charge, that is, in an isolated system overall charge is always conserved, right? So this is all about the conservation of charge. So I think this much is enough for this video. We'll study next topic onwards from next video. So do let me know if you want to have these topics and these chapters in Hindi as well. So right now I'm doing all the videos in English, but in case you want that I shift the videos from English to Hindi, or you want both the versions, then do let me know in the comments down below. I will try to make in Hindi as well. So I hope so far this video was useful for you. So thank you so much for watching.